And good morning. Happy April 2nd, 2022. Just a heads up, a little housekeeping. I may have to hop off a little early or put us, we're only here for a half hour usually, but may have to go on hiatus. I'm working with some folks this morning on a crashed ESXi host. Purple screen, and looking at my messages, looks like it is booting, but these hosts sometimes take a while. So just waiting to hear what's going on with that. How's everybody this morning? 36 of you here, only 36 likes. Hit that thumbs up button. You notice in the background that my major award is missing. I'll be hanging some other stuff up here pretty soon. Let's go over to the comments. JH is not going to make it this morning, but wants us to have a good stream. That's fantastic. Good morning, Jeremy, Robert, CH, Admin Engineer, Gibby, Zach, Gina, Sterling, it's been a while, my man. James, Systech, Sean, Gordon, Chris, Tony with Quick Tech, TN Bighorn, David Anderson, Alonzo, Ryan, Michael. I think I already said we got no audio. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. I've got one person that's saying no audio. Is there no audio? Can you hear me? Let me know. Somebody let me know in the chat if you can hear me. So is it only David Anderson that can't hear me? Loud and clear. Okay. All right. So happy late April Fool's Day there, David Anderson. Threw me off now. Morning, Robert. Gibby says, today I'm finishing the final touches on moving the business off a USG to a MikroTik, but I also have prepared a GWN 7000. What would you choose? I'm favoring micro. Depends on what the use case is. So, Tony also put out a video. So a couple months back, you saw me put out a video about using an ATA to keep my rotary phone going, which is also going to be mounted back here under the logo. And Tony put his video out this morning. Go check it out. All right, what's everybody else got going here? I am looking at my my phone just to make sure I'm keeping a status update on this ESXi host. Good morning, Bob Von Hayden. Yeah, April Fools. Yeah, David Anderson says it was just him. So, all right. So, what's everybody up to this weekend? What kind of tech stuff you working on? All right. So it looks like that host is back online, which is a good thing. Which means the VMs should start standing up. We'll see here shortly. I'm going to log into that while we're talking, maybe, if I can remember the password. You know how that goes. It's a shot in the dark there. So, yeah, Tony's production quality is absolutely fantastic. So, hey, it's Joe with Cajoling Tech. Good morning, Joe with Cajoling Tech. I'm glad you're here. I missed you, buddy. We did some, ASMR for you last week. So, Ryan says, are you making a dedicated video for that tiny MikroTik access point? I have one already, but I do need to update it because that will run router OS 7, so I need to do that update. Give me just a second here, folks. All right. No, David Anderson. I still have not made it to the cell phone place to get a new SIM card. So TVJ, hello everyone. I'm trying to build a content management system using PHP. We use WordPress. WordPress is so extensible these days that it's difficult to get away from it. So, all right. So the good news is our ESXi host is back. Now we're waiting for the VMs to start standing up, which I'm logging into now. Somebody says, who is Tony? Tony is Tony with Quick Tech Solutions. Everybody say hi to Tony. So, all right. Good morning, DJ Ware. Sean says, dealing with UPS issues at a retail store. Not a huge fan of CyberPower. Yeah, they work okay. Michael Berg says, setting up Synology surveillance station. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, I don't do any web design. I pass that off to somebody else as well. So, just because it's not worth, somebody else does it way better than me, right? So it's worth their time, not necessarily my time trying to figure that out. So web design, I do pass off, to somebody else. But, all right, over to the comments. Yes, I am a bit distracted because I'm waiting for these VMs to stand up. It's, I'm now into the ESXi host, which is good. And guess what? I'm going to start throwing the levers. They were supposed to auto power on, and they didn't. So I'm going to power on all. I can't show you this. I'm just going to power these on, and then I'm not going to be as distracted. Let's see here. There sure were a few VMs. I don't know how many of you actually manage ESXi hosts at scale, so like clusters. But when the ESXi host that your VMware vCenter server is on purple screens, well, that makes for an interesting morning. So those are all powering on. And so now I'm going to turn my attention keenly to the live stream. So sorry there. All right. TVJ says, sorry, I meant asset management system for archiving video. We got some quotes and they want 20 grand a year plus hardware. Holy cow, that's crazy. Alejandro says, talking about MikroTik, a video for load balancing using different ISPs with VLANs would be great. It sure would. Let's see. Sean says that, and also working on some Cradlepoint 5G units. My field team was working a weekend shift so we can complete upgrades. Yeah, that happens a lot with IT. So TVJ, you might want to reach out to Tim Bear. Tim Bear has an interesting asset management system. You might reach out to him, and it's SQL based. It has a Windows client, and it probably wouldn't take too much. I don't think he'd charge you 20 grand. You might reach out to him. Jeremy says, do you still recommend Telnex? Yes, Telnex is our go-to for voice over IP. Now, I want to make this very clear. The way that we set things up, we never get in the middle of those transactions between Telnex and the customer, because once you receive the bill and then you start reselling to your customer, You've just changed the whole enchilada. It's a different ball of wax. You know what I'm saying? Like, you now have become a telephone company, and the laws and rules and regulations of that are completely different. And unless you understand the laws, rules, regulations, the taxes, and everything of becoming a telephone company, you should not be doing that. So we never do that. I do have some big announcements. We're not becoming a telephone company, but I got some big announcements coming Monday. Tim's working on getting our website updated. So, and if you're not on the mailing list, go over to williehowe.com. Hop on the mailing list, because the mailing list folks are going to be the first ones to hear the news. Hold on, people are texting me here. Let's see. So, yeah, make sure you get on the mailing list, because you're going to really want to see where we're going in the next evolution of things. All right, back over to the comments. Pat says, late to the show, what hypervisor? ESXi. Ryan says, is there any way to get Unify certified for my house? No, you have to go to a class. I'm actually working on becoming Ubiquity certified trainer. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's see. Proxmox is king. Nah, Proxmox is okay. A lot of the open source stuff is okay because you can get support for it. But you got to remember, I'm a VCP, right? So I have a vested interest in VMware because of all the time that I've spent learning the system. Now, of course, they've got bigger, better certs, but VCP is still a considerable time investment and knowledge investment. Morning, Brian and Brian. Tony says, Willie pointed me to Telnex 2 years ago. Best move. Haven't looked back. It's been rock solid, and they do have a pay-as-you-go plan. Yeah, so we typically don't do the standard trunks. We typically do the pay-as-you-go. There is not a hosted PBX system, and this is like fighting words, right? Laying down the gauntlet. There is not a hosted PBX system that can touch our pricing and our ROI when we quote you a GrandStream UCM. So I am also, I have a bunch of GrandStream UCM videos that are coming, but I'm doing a video to like introduce people to what is a UCM, because I don't think people actually know that aren't in the ecosystem don't actually know what a UCM is and what all it can do. So I'm working on that as well. Also, we're going to be in Vegas in October. We're going to be hanging out at the GrandStream booth at Wispapalooza. So if you're going to be out there in October, you're going to have to make sure that you swing by and say hi. TVJ says, who is Tim Bear? TVJ, go to my website, and there's a link at the bottom over to Tim's website. He's got a contact form. You can fill it out and get a hold of him. Brian says, I pay $100 a year for Proxmox. Cool. Bob says, having BSOD problems this morning. Thanks for the April Fool's patch, Microsoft. Was there... there was all kinds of stuff happening yesterday. Yeah, I may have got an email, about an out-of-band patch. What a bad day, unless it's an absolute emergency to put an out-of-band, what an absolute bad day to put an out-of-band, patch out, unless it's an actual emergency, right? So, hey, morning, Jason's Lab. Yeah, so Ryan says, but Brian, it's free. So Ryan is referencing that Brian pays $100 a year for Proxmox. So you can eat open source. Red Hat was really the first company to prove that you could eat open source. I mean, a multi-billion-dollar company that got sold to IBM based on open source solutions. So you can eat open source. And I got to tell you, I would rather use open source because we can get the source code inspected. You get the software, and then we can pay for support if needed. So I would rather work on that model myself, personally. Not everybody works like that. So there's going to be non-technical people that don't understand open source, that don't understand IT, and they're going to think that always using a closed source product that you pay a boatload of money for is the best. And you know, it's not the case, right? But we've all been trained, not all of us. There are people in certain positions that have been trained for that, and thank goodness they are not the IT experts. So, we get paid to be IT experts, and people need to let us be IT experts. You know, you can't tell somebody they're going to be an expert in something and then, bind their hands together so that they can't really do anything. Sean asked me, what is your preferred tier 1 hypervisor? So it's been a while since I've quoted a brand new install. Obviously, being a VCP, I would say VMware, but I would look at, I like Proxmox. I like the open source Zen server project. I like the Synology stuff. It kind of depends, right? It's not going to be, it's like anything else we do. We're going to evaluate the needs, and then we're going to choose a product based on the needs. So we're not going to shove square pegs in round holes. So Bob says, I can see Epic CPUs being very popular for Proxmox licensing. So I have a couple ESXi hosts, ESXi 7 hosts that are Epic CPUs, and they run flawlessly, and it's fantastic. TN Bighorn says, been trying to migrate a user's data from an old machine to a new machine for the last 2 days with no luck. Then I crashed my truck today. Holy cow. I hope you're okay. And if you need help doing that migration, shoot me an email and let me know. I can give you just bounce some ideas off you for what we do. DJ Ware says, so true, but as with all things, sometimes open source is best and sometimes closed source is best. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Microsoft, does anybody really believe that LibreOffice or OpenOffice is better than Microsoft Office? On my Mac, I got the Mac Office Productivity Suite that is, the Apple stuff, the Keynote and all that. And do you think that even though that was free, that is better than Microsoft? That the Microsoft Office, Microsoft does some things really, really, really well. And for us to sit here and say that Microsoft Office is probably not the best desktop productivity suite, we'd be lying in a lot of aspects. However, when you start looking at web-based stuff, is it the best? Probably not. So here again, we're going to evaluate the solution, what it's going to be used for, and then we're going to make a decision. But the thing that kills me is that you will get people who, can do things and tinker and put solutions together or run a spreadsheet or create a PowerPoint, and people think that those are technical people. And that their technical expertise holds weight, and it really shouldn't. It's one of those things that you just got to deal with sometimes. And sometimes you're going to be in a position where you can tell people that that's not the case. So let's hope that you're at a position in your life where you can do that. So, let's see. Gene says $200 a year for vMug Advantage. Good deal to be able to use all of VMware's products. And absolutely, vMug Advantage is fantastic. And Gene hit the nail on the head. With vMug Advantage, you cannot use it in production, but you can use it in your lab. And it is a killer deal for $200 a year. Oh, Yeah, TN Bighorn says that he's fine. Thanks for asking. The problem is he has AutoCAD on his old machine, and we're trying to move that install from one machine to another. Yeah, definitely reach out to the AutoCAD folks. All right. So Ryan says they're forcing you to pay for a subscription to do simple typing tasks. No, you can still outright buy Microsoft Office. Every time that they've said that they're going to make it subscription-based only, they get such huge kickback that you can still buy, you can still license Microsoft Office, own that version until the wheels fall off. Now, what they have done was with Microsoft Exchange Server, they said it was going to be cloud-based only. They got such huge kickback on trying to make Microsoft Exchange hosted only that you can now, what they did was they tweaked the licensing model, right? Excuse me. And so you can still get it. You can still put it on your own server, but guess what? Now you do have to pay as you go with Microsoft Exchange Server, the new versions. So, I will tell you what, I've used Synology MailStation, and I wholly believe that it is a drop-in replacement for Microsoft Exchange. You can do absolutely everything and more. I've got to get to those videos. The problem is it's not just one video. It is so deep once you get into it. And the really nice thing is about Mail Plus Server is you do have to pay for a license per user, but once you buy it, you own it for life, and you can transfer it from server to server to server. So you never have to pay for Synology Mail Plus Server after that first time. And you get 5 free licenses. If you're running in an HA, you get 10 free licenses. So, yeah. Good morning, PTMP Enterprises. Ryan says, surprised you don't have to pay for monthly for Notepad at this point. If you don't think that Microsoft is heading towards a pay to play operating system where we're going to be paying for Windows, oh yeah, and at that point, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get enough people hooked. They're trying to bring enough value that once they throw that lever, that the amount of users they're going to switch to Linux and switch to Mac is not going to hurt them. They are wholly concentrating on cloud services. DJ Ware says, plus open source mandates source contribution if you make changes. That doesn't fly in DoD classified environments with classified code. Yeah, so I've been trying, DJ Ware, maybe you can help me out. I've been trying to get some answers about software with DoD classified environments with federal government installations. And is that, so if a piece of software, if the manufacturer has a backdoor in the software, do they have to disclose it to the federal government? Or if there is a backdoor, can the software not be used in a federal installation? If somebody can answer that for me and actually point me to the federal legislation, the written word from the federal government about that, I would be in your debt. I would send you a hat. Once we verify that's real, I will send you a Willie Howe technology hat. Let's see here. TN Bighorn says, well, the problem is he's super cheap and he's already got 2 machines. Ah, yes. Yes. Client expectation versus client budget. They will clash every single time. Alejandro says, is Mail Plus Active Sync compatible? Well, they've got their own Mail Plus app that integrates with contacts and the calendar, or you can do it via IMAP. Is it Active Sync? I've not tried Active Sync, but that is definitely something that I would be interested in trying. Shapasta, hello. So also, if you're not following me on Twitter and I've kind of given up on Instagram at this point, but if you're not following me on Twitter and TikTok, go check that out. Go check out my last video. I'm posting short videos, and I'm posting them to YouTube as well. So if you follow me on YouTube, you're getting the notifications of the shorts and the shorter videos. But I am posting. I'm trying to post content every day. Ryan says, as soon as you can't have a local Windows account, even with an exploit, and not get security updates, I'm switching to Linux. You and a lot of other people, Ryan. Jeremy says, hey, DJ Ware, the licenses I read mandated code contribution only if you release those changes. Unless something has changed, this is not required for internal use. Yes. So you will notice that every time I open a piece of GrandStream hardware, do I have one here? I don't have a piece of GrandStream hardware in the box here. Do I have a MikroTik one? So I don't have one here. But anytime I open up a piece of GrandStream hardware, they always put a copy of the GNU license right there. There are other companies who will remain nameless who have taken advantage of the GPL and are basically, they're still violating the GPL, and they're going to do it until somebody with deep enough pockets forces them to stop. So, but yeah, go follow me on the Ticker Talkers. And let's see. Bob Carpenter just sent me this. Oh, some sort of, that's Bob. You got a blue screen. You're going to have to figure that out. Let me see. Hopefully I don't get dinged on here for showing my own content. Let's see here. But like the video I released this morning, I released it on YouTube too, talking about some people don't know how to get the MikroTik SFP Plus module out of their devices. And somebody's like, well, read the instructions. And that's awesome, except that when you order these in bulk, they ship loose without instructions. So unless you're going and looking it up, and if you're in a hurry and you need an SFP and then you want to move it around, you're probably not going to do that. Now, I've not broken mine. I have not broken mine. The video is not created because I broke one, but I've had people who have had issues and have broken their modules trying to get them out of switches. So I was like, you know what? If I've had, two people who've contacted me about getting it out of there, one person broke a module, there's likely others. So why not release a 1-minute video to tell people how to get this out of there? This module is fantastic. So this is the MikroTik. Oh, where is it? Is it going to focus? The SRJ10. So this is a multi-speed SFP Plus. It'll do 10 meg, 100 meg, 1 gig, 2.5 gig, 5 gig, and 10 gig. And has worked in every piece of hardware that I've put it in so far, which is very impressive. It even works in the UXG Pro, which I'm working on my video for that. So, DJ Ware says, Willie, the best advice is to ask that question to whatever government entity is responsible to certify for operational status. The rules vary too much for general answers. So let me ask you this. Let me say that you were working with a piece of software. I'm going to ask everybody in the comments, and I want everybody's opinion because I want to see what everybody else would do. So, if you... Oh, yeah, hold on real quick. Gina says, have you tried it with TP-Link? I have not, because my TP-Link has 2.5 gig and 10 gig ports, but that switch died. And I see I'm not the only content creator who has had one of those TP-Link 2.5 gig PoE switches die. Literally, I unplugged it twice. It wasn't even like an actual power outage surge. I unplugged it in testing twice, 2 times, and the switch is dead. TP-Link says they're sending me a new model. That hopefully they're aware of this because other people are having the same problem, but it's not going to bode well if I get the second switch and I can kill it by unplugging the power too. I mean, I literally there's a Ubiquity switch that's right here on my desk. It's the 16 port, the real nice looking switch that you could put in a living room. I literally shut this off every day. Guess what? This switch never dies. It never loses its configuration. Come on, TP-Link. Like, you had switching problem. Everybody went to bat for you. You fixed your capacitors. Hopefully this is not some sort of a new, really weird issue. All right, so back to our hypothetical about a piece of software. So let's say that you have a vendor. You have a piece of software, and you have the admin password, right, for the main admin account. But this vendor can bypass your password and log in with that account. Let's take it a step further. Let's say you have multi-factor authentication enabled on the admin account, and that vendor can bypass not only your password, but multi-factor authentication and log into the account. what would you do? Trust me, I'm documenting it and I'm going to write it up because in my opinion, this is not good at all. Ryan says, did a first proper data recover for a customer yesterday. Kid opened a game on his PC and it hoses main Windows partition. That's crazy. T and Bighorn says, I had a customer earlier this week that did a motherboard replaced on his laptop by Dell, and as soon as he fired it up, Outlook threw a TPM module error. Yeah, that's crazy. Ryan Switch, no, it was not an unmanaged, or Ryan Sharp, it was not an unmanaged switch. It was a, here's the problem with the software, which is why I was asking the question. I know the Army uses the software, right? So I think I have an obligation to make sure this is documented and get it to somebody. So Bob says, I have some SFP Plus ports in my MikroTik switches that will latch about 50% of the SFP modules that I put in. It's really weird. Sometimes you have to push them. Yeah, I haven't had that. I'll have to try that out, Bob, actually, just to say that. Also, I've got some really cool custom Glencairn glasses coming for Bits and Bourbon. So that podcast is hopefully going to kick off on Tuesday. It'll be live and then it'll be available. Admin Engineer says you can't have a back door. Edward says, do you mean as if Adobe would have access to my team account? If Adobe could log in as you, Edward. Gibby says, walk away now and move on to another. Oh, trust me. I'm documenting this, and we are doing all kinds of testing and stuff like that. So Jason says, has anyone here used 10.4 Optics SFP modules? Hey, Jason, is that the one that I see over on TikTok, the one that's got the little green hand as the logo? Let's see here. DJ says, in DOD, they will find it, and if they do, I wouldn't want to be the author of that software unless they like the color orange and want to live in Kansas. Well, that's DJ Ware. That's what prompted my question is, does the Army know about this, right? To me, that's a huge problem. A huge, huge problem, which is why everything is being documented, tested, and written up properly. And it is without physical access. They can access this software from anywhere using that account. And we know they're bypassing MFA because we receive the MFA code and then they're logged into the software. So, Jason said, yes, that's 100% correct. So a friend of mine, Sam, over on TikTok, let me pull him up here real quick. He's under my friends here. Let's see. I can't, what is his? I just know him as Sam. He's also into, NetTool. Let's see here. Systems analyst, right? So Sam, he uses, those quite a bit. Let me see if I can find a picture for what we're talking about here. It is 10.4 Optics. Yeah. So, yeah, with the little thumbs up there. So, no, I have not. I should try them out though, shouldn't I? They got a cool logo. They have a really cool logo. All right. Sean says, interesting topic. What about in an internal org where you can impersonate a user? So it's funny, Sean, that you should say that because this software also allows you to log in as an end user and see what they see. So, yeah. And I'm not going to release the name of the software. Here, we're going to get everything written up and we're going to follow the proper channels. But so Edward says, how is that different to me getting admin access to customers, tenants, users, and Azure environments? Because you probably have, if you're a vendor, you should have things in place that allow you to be able to access those things. This company can, at any time with no warning log in as that user. Yeah. So, for us to log in as the admin user, we have to provide not only the password and the MFA code. The vendor does not. It is a huge problem because how are you ensuring that that vendor is not logging into that software? Now we know that the vendor's logging in because every time the vendor logs in, we get the MFA code. But I mean, all it takes is one disgruntled employee that has access to the mechanism that bypasses all of the security. And guess what? Now you've got a data breach and now you're in an incident. I'm sorry. An incident. We should not call them breaches. We need to use the legal term so the lawyers don't get their feathers ruffled. There is an incident. And there is a huge difference. So, and by the way, if your insurance company has reached out to you and they are telling you that you need to meet certain specs to get your cyber liability insurance renewed, reach out and we'll help you out with that. Ryan says Amazon makes you put an MFA code at the end of the password. So I'll tell you what, as far as OpenVPN goes, OpenVPN on OpenSense is the easiest VPN MFA setup besides Synology, because the Synology routers, they have the app and all that good stuff. But yeah. So I'll have to reach out to Disa. And Edward says, okay, I see. Yeah, that is, and if that vendor gets hacked, right? So if a hacker gets in and they compromise those tools and now they can log into, and this software is likely in use in a lot of places and it holds a fair amount of information that we wouldn't want released in an incident. So we are definitely. I mean, I have a very strict vetting process for software, and some of this was never disclosed. So it's definitely interesting. And Jeremy says, everybody get the like in this video. I see 83 watching and only 38 likes. Yes, please let the algorithm know you like the content. Smash that like button, hit that thumbs up button. So what else is going on? So somebody asked me the other day if I had to rate Grandstream phones, the actual phones, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being my favorite phone right now, 10 being a phone that I would still use but not being my favorite phone. So my number 1 phone would be the GRP 2614, followed by the GXP 2170. My least favorite, which we still use, and I have it and you're going to see some videos on it, is that darn Android GXV 3350. So, stuff happens. But, what else is everybody up to? I gotta here shortly. I'm gonna have to get. Robert says, "What do you think of the merger of Untangle and Arista?" What? Okay, I didn't hear about it. So let me pull up a tab. Let's see here. If it was released yesterday, do we think this is a thing? Arista buys Untangle. Oh boy. Whew. All right. Well, that escalated quickly. Let's see here. Let me rearrange some windows so that I can, let me log. You can't see the hypervisor. Sorry, folks. Can't see the hypervisor. Untangle is now part of Arista Networks. Well, here's the thing. Number 1, congratulations to the Untangle team. So before Untangle was popular, when they had the really cool graphical interface that looked like a rack and you turned the modules on and off, I've been using it since Untangle was that, when it was wholly open source. And then they got it into selling modules and everything. Congratulations. You guys have worked hard. And for your work to be paid off in such a fantastic way. Congratulations to the folks at Untangle and Jason's Lab. If you could hook me up with them, I would like to tell them congratulations. I've been using their software since them and Indian, right? And we saw Indian. Indian has had appliances for years. I'm surprised somebody hasn't bought Indian, and maybe they have. But Arista is switching like you've not seen. Arista, like if you go out and you look at used Arista switches, like the used Arista switches they're all 40 gig ports, 10 gig ports, 40 gig ports. They move massive amounts of software. You're going to see Arista in environments that you're not going to see Cisco. You're not going to see Juniper. You're going to see Arista in some high end stuff. And this is fantastic. Congratulations to the Untangle team. So I like Untangle. And everybody, if you're interested in Untangle videos, go check out Jason's Lab. Jason, you can, if you go to my YouTube channel, Jason, my email, I think is up there. There's a phone number on there that you can text me. You can go to the website, fill out the contact form. Can one of the mods that are on here please link over to Jason's YouTube channel real quick? Go check out Jason's Lab. Check out his Untangle videos. Systech says, I switched from Untangle free to Ubiquity. So here's the thing, too. I keep hearing a lot about how you shouldn't use Edge, or not Edge, but unified gateways. Why not? Why not? And 90% of what people are doing, pfSense is not doing anything that at this point, a UDM or the UXG Pro can't do. And don't tell me it can't do policy-based routing, because it can, right? So, ridiculous, because it can. Thank you, Bob, for posting a link. Everybody go check out Jason's Lab. Hit the subscribe button while you're over there. He does some fantastic... Jason, is this you calling my desk phone? Hold on a second. Hello?
Hey, it's Jason.
Hey, Jason from Jason's Lab. I think you're live on the air. Hey, everybody, I'm going to turn the mic this way. Everybody, let me know if you can hear Jason. This was unexpected. Jason, I would have fired it up so you could call in on the old Rodecaster Pro. But what's going on?
I just thought I'd give you guys a call because I'm watching this, and I was like, oh my gosh, he just did a huge shout out for me. I was like, I got to call this guy and say thank you very much.
You are welcome. Us small content creators, we got to stick together. And then as
that's right.
And then as we grow, we've still got to stick together. Yeah, man, I've been watching your videos, and I like what you're putting out, so I hope other people are too, and I hope they're subscribing.
I get probably 3 a day, and I get tons of emails and stuff like that. And the thing I really like the most is I get all the guys that are just coming on board and have no clue. They go to the forums and nobody wants to help them, and I have no problem helping them. So if you have simple questions, I just say email me or go from there in the forums. So that's where I stand with that.
Oh, perfect. Hey, do you like bourbon?
No, I don't drink.
That's all right. You could drink iced tea.
I drink coffee, though.
I was going to say, you could drink iced tea or coffee. I'd like to have you on the podcast. I'd like to have you on the live stream. I think we could cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, and then I don't want to say it right now because I don't want anybody to have the email address I want to give you, but what I'll do is I will email you through the website, and I will give you a contact that you can have a contact with to talk about that too.
Oh, perfect. I appreciate that.
There's a lot of good things going on with Arista and Untangle right now. There's a lot of things that haven't been said, but it's going to be a really good show. So
that's awesome. Yeah, Arista, anytime anybody... there's a reason, I've only touched Arista a couple times, and there's a reason I don't have it in the lab. Because Ryan Sharp, he posted you can get a 32-port QSFP Plus switch for $750 on eBay. Most of my lab gear does not cost $750.
Well, the one thing that I talked about my rep with about Untangle and Arista is we all know that people will buy a Untangle firewall and match their favorite brand of networking gear to it. And Untangle thought, well, it would be a great idea is if we could sell that whole package together. So we could sell our customer an access point, a switch, and an Untangle device all in one device. Or we can make it so you can just buy the same hardware by themselves, right? So, and it'll be easy to manage, like their Aruba portal, because my go-to setup for customers is Aruba instant on switches and access points with Untangle. But now that they're going to be doing just that themselves, I might be switching, right?
Who did Arista buy for Wi-Fi?
I'm not too sure. I haven't gotten that deep into it, and I think I'm going to be going into a meeting next week with Eric about all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I've been just trying to get all these videos out of all the hardware they've sent me, and I got to get it back to them. And then I've been nudging my rep to say, "Hey, can I have some of that new hardware?"
Yeah, and definitely, I would think that they would be amendable to making sure that you have some hardware, and
well, I'm in Canada, so it costs a little bit of shipping, but I just made the deal with them that I'll just send it back on my own dime, and they're fine with that. So
that international, once you cross that international line, it's so weird to me, right? We share a lot of things in common between the states. Yeah. But it's like once FedEx or UPS or USPS, once they hit that international line, their cash register just starts adding zeros.
That was one of my conversations with Scott and Heather when we did the live meeting a couple days ago. I said the biggest problem with me up in Canada here selling a product is once UPS touches it, I get a brokerage fee, I get a shipping fee, and then after that I get some other kind of fee. And I said, what are we doing about that? Scott said that we're going to have a main distributor in Canada or something that goes right from the manufacturing to Canada for you guys to eliminate that whole process. So I can now try to get out Sonic Wall, and I'm going to be happy with that.
That's going to be awesome. So I'm getting ready to ship Bob Carpenter a couple things, and even though it's like a 5x5 by 12 box, USPS wanted $112. FedEx wanted like 90, and UPS with a code wants like 50. But so Bob, be watching out for that box. It's coming. But hey, man, I appreciate you calling in here.
To the stream there, and then after that, I'll reach out to you and we'll talk some more.
Perfect. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Well, that was awesome. An awesome, unexpected call from another content creator. And I see people commenting on my ringtone. Yeah, that is the bane of the existence of this phone for my wife. She's not a huge fan of that ringtone, but I think it's hilarious. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a few more questions. Ryan Sharp says they bought Mojo Networks. I don't know who Mojo Networks, who that is. Mojo Networks. And that was back in 2018. And Jason, it was really no deal. I love to work with other content creators and other people in the industry. So you can see some of the other content creators that are in the channel. TVJ, you've got Tony, you've got Joe. Unky Joe pops in, and Unky Joe's going to be getting upset with me unless he's not doing a live stream, because he's going to be spinning up here in a few minutes. So I'm going to be spinning down, and it looks like. Oh yeah, that's cool. So Tom decided to go live at the same time. So Tom's live over on his channel. It looks like some of you left and went over there, and some of you might be watching both. So definitely, that's definitely interesting. So yeah, Tom's been going for 11 minutes, and we'll let Tom do his thing. But I want to thank you all for being here on Saturday morning, and yes, thank you to everyone who is here. And watch the channel, because I'm going to be showing you why you don't necessarily need to use OpenSense or pfSense, why the Ubiquity stuff does make sense, why Untangle makes sense. Jason's really going to show you why. If you go over and look at his channel. But You know, I want to thank you all for being here today, spend a little time. I hope you are all awesome. Go watch Unky Joe at 10 a.m. Central if you're subscribed to him, or I guess if you're interested in what Tom's got to say, he's rolling now. But we're going to hop off here. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.